Alright, so we've got 4 viewers viewing at the moment. Hi, everyone that's viewing at the moment. Hope you're having a good Sunday afternoon. We might as well start. 4 viewers is halfway to our normal viewing anyway. What a week. COVID lockdown, yay. Cheers. I'm drinking water today. Not beer, because I don't have any in the cupboard or in the fridge. So, cheers, biggies. If you got your, hope you got your coffees or your beers or your waters or whatever you like to drink, handy. Oh, Mitzi's on. Hi, Mitzi. So I've got Mitzi and Rob on with us at the moment. Mitzi owns a health food. I think it's a health food shop down at Padstow. Hope you're going all right with the lockdown. Hope everyone's going all right with the lockdown. I think everyone's a bit over it. Shane's on. How you going, Shane? Good to see you, or good to see your chat at least. As soon as lockdown finishes, I reckon we hit up a jam up at the church building again, because I think everyone would love to get in a room and turn up their guitars and drums and hit it out. If you've got YouTube, if you're viewing and you're not signed into YouTube, you should sign into YouTube so you can chat to us. I read a really good comment on Facebook today, because there's a whole bunch of crap that's been going backwards and forwards about our friends that were in the city the other day, or you might not consider them your friends, but I reckon this comment says it all, because there was obviously people on both sides of the fence with the whole, do we go and protest, or is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? And I read this comment from another friend of mine on Facebook, and I thought it was very balanced, because there's not a lot of balance. It's either you hear comments from the extremes and it's like, wow, people are at war almost. And I'll read you, this is Mr. Jared King's comment. He says, I'm seeing a lot of people being persecuted for the alternative views right now. Criticism is one thing, but charged violent language and hostility is another. Similarly, breaking down laws in mass is one thing, and expressing an opinion is another. If we cannot have a civil and rational discourse about something as serious as the response to a global-wide pandemic, then we are truly lost as a civilization. Most people right now are pleading for science and reason, yet how can science even take place when the opposing side is continually silenced and maligned? Science that is protected from criticism and questioning is not science. Without discourse, no question can be asked of the current agenda. No alternatives can be put forward, and thus no further collaborative progression can be made. This is my opinion. It is a dangerous place for humanity to be. So, yeah, I thought that was very well said, and I probably didn't read it all that well. So my apologies to Mr. Jared King for really poorly saying what you said on Facebook. People should go and read it rather than me listen. I failed English at school, so yeah. But yeah, I agree with him. We need to have a bit more of a balanced conversation, and I think that's one thing we've lost a little bit in our society, is the ability to have a rational conversation about things. People get understandably very emotionally charged with what's going on. And I think we just need to sometimes take the steam out of it and try and take the emotion out of what's going on, and be able to have rational conversations without shouting each other down. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that are feeling like they don't have a voice, or they're not being heard, which is not a good thing for mental health. And I think one of the biggest things is people feeling like they can be heard through what they do, or be heard just because their opinion, and everyone's opinion is valid and everyone's feelings are valid. And when one side of the equation gets shut down, I don't think that's a really good thing. So we need to make sure we listen and be slow to be judgmental, and be quick to show compassion and empathy towards another person's situation, whether you believe it's good or whatever. We need to be slow to speak and quick to listen, I think, is my wisdom for the day. But yeah, let's go back in, have a look at some comments, because I saw some more comments come in. So Tim's on. Hey Tim from Central Coast, from your minor. Yeah, I will get to the point where we have our comments come up in the feed here, but for those of you that were on earlier, I'm still struggling trying to do that. At least I've got them up and running on YouTube. I just need to... I've changed over software from what I was using to stream before, because my 14-day free trial ran out, and I'm just being a tightwad, and they wanted to charge me $50 a month to keep that software running. So I've switched over to some other software, but it's not as easy to get the feed coming up in the screen. So I will try and figure out. I had a look at it this afternoon, but it was too complicated and I was feeling rushed, so I thought, screw it. It won't hurt not to have anything going on. So today I thought I'd just go over a couple of things after me preaching about people being tolerant. Be tolerant, people. Be listeners. So I was working on this track, recorded. It's like a mate of mine who's doing this band thing, and he's putting these demo tracks together to put for his show reel for his demo show reel to send out to agents and stuff. So I basically had to do this re-record of this song, and it's from a well-known country artist. I won't say his name because hopefully this stream will stay up a little bit longer than the last ones. We got through the stream and then I went to save it on thing, and it saved for about an hour, and then it got taken down because I had too many copyright strikes in it. Yeah, thanks YouTube. Trying to give some people some entertainment and some education, and I'm not earning a cent from any views that I make on YouTube because YouTube won't allow me to monetize, because I don't rate high enough on their level of significance. So yeah, I'm not making any money out of this stream at all, but yeah, they thought it was an infringement upon some copyright things. So yeah, so back to that thing. I was working on this track today, and I thought it'd be give you an insight as to the way that I do what I do when doing this type of things, or even recording some of my own material. So yeah, so my good mate Warren Scott recorded the drums for this track. And I've recorded a whole bunch of guitar parts for it, and then what'll happen next, the tracks will get sent off to someone to record some bass, and then my mate that asked me to record this, probably doesn't hurt to say his name, Mr. Craig Woodward. Shout outs to Craig Woodward, he's a good dude. He will record his vocals and any backing vocals on it. It might need some keyboards on it. Who knows? I think in the original recording there is some organ on this track, so there might be a need for someone to record some organ. And then it'll go off to get mixed, and then he can use it in his his band promo for promo material, wherever that ends up. I have no idea. But yeah, so I'll switch over to my other screen so you can actually see what I'm looking at here in my Logic session. So yeah, I use Logic to record my stuff, and I'm assuming you can see my little head up there in the window. So yeah, this is Logic, very similar to GarageBand. So if you're a Mac user, you can buy this software, or you can use the GarageBand version, which is a free version if you've got Mac OS on your system. Or alternatively, if you're a Windows dude, you could go to Cubase, Pro Tools, I think Cakewalk is still a thing. I used to use Cakewalk back in the day. I have used Cubase in the past. I have used Pro Tools. But yeah, at the moment I'm on Logic. Yeah, I was a big Pro Tools user for a long time, but I think they got a bit greedy. I mean, you pay. I paid I think $700 for a license for Pro Tools at one point. That was just the software, and you had to have an iLock key and everything for it, and it was really cool. I knew all the keyboard shortcuts and how to use it, how to do all the routing, all the MIDI stuff in it and everything. But then it got time where my operating system on my Mac got updated and it left behind my version of Pro Tools, and I had to upgrade it. So I had to pay some more money for this program, and it went away from a one-off purchase to a subscription-based thing like what Adobe do. So you pay on a monthly thing or a yearly subscription for their program, and I thought that was a little bit unfair. And I had another friend of mine who was he's a big Logic user. He writes production music, and I thought I'll go over to Logic. And Tim says no MIDI plugins though. That's right. So with Pro Tools, it's just the DAW. And a DAW is a digital audio workstation. So it's just software that you run on your computer that allows you to record to your hard drive, and it gives you this interface that works really cool. But with Pro Tools, you don't get any plugins. So a plugin is some software that you can, I don't have any plugins running on this session at the moment, but I've got like drum plugins or a bass plugin that you can run. You can record MIDI in, and it gives you really cool sounds to get those things. But yeah, so Logic comes with a whole bunch of plugins, which is really cool, and it's not as expensive as Pro Tools. I probably like Pro Tools a little bit better, just the flow of it, probably more because I'm used to it. But the more I use Logic, the more I'm getting used to this as well. So, they're all good programs at the end of the day. But, yeah, so anyway, getting back to this session. So, yeah, this is from a, I don't know if you can, if in the top left-hand corner here, you can probably see the artist's name. I wonder if it'll. I'm suspecting this YouTube will still pick up on this, and I've taken out some of the lead lines. So I'll just play a little bit of this anyway, and I'll show you what I've got. Hopefully that's coming out nice and loud. I might just give it a bit more volume. Tim says 17 guitar tracks. No, there's actually more than 17. So up the top here, what we've got is the up the top line is the original track that I dropped into Logic just to get a reference for some different things. And then I was given, I'll just stop this for a sec so it doesn't drown me out. The second one is my mate Warren's drum track. And I'll solo that out. And I think he recorded this in a studio out at Penrith somewhere and did a stellar job. Great sounds. Yeah, nice kick drum. Rob says nice kick. Yeah, really cool recording of the drums. Warren smashed it. And then down here, Craig's recorded some acoustic guitar as a bit of a scratch track, so I got something to play along with, and he put a vocal down. I won't play the vocal because he would probably cringe, because it was just a scratch vocal for me to have a bit of a reference. So down here, all the orange is guitar tracks. I have had some muted just not to give away the name of the song. And I'll go through these, and there's some, and then the purple is like a lead guitar part. So there's more than 17 tracks here. I might just play a squizzy of the intro because it's quite a cool song. I like the song. So I wonder how quick YouTube will pick up on this. Generally so for people who haven't recorded before or haven't sort of looked into it, sometimes a lot of the times it's more than just going in the studio and playing a single guitar recording. And what I noticed, because I was referencing what I was doing with the original recording that I've got up in track 1 there, and I find it's good to do when you're trying to sort of copy a recording like this, because it gives you an idea of how big you are in comparison to what's going on with the recording. So the first part I sort of put down was the 2 rhythm guitars. So the first one here is if I play that, it's like this muted track, and I just doubled that with the track underneath. Now it's very subtle, and one of the things I picked up from listening to people like Dan Huff is that they layer parts. So they have a strong part, and then there's another couple other parts recorded pan to the same direction, but layered just brings it a little bit more strength. But it's by pretty much doubled the same thing through that. The second part I did comes in a little bit further, and I'll show you that part, which is just a wider sort of guitar part. And he does these big stabs over the chord progression. And with that, so the other one's holding the rhythm down, the other one's just giving me a bit of a wider expression over those chords. And some of the other tracks, so this is sort of like the chorus bit. So one of the tracks I've done is like just to give you that country and western vibe, a bit of a tremolo happening. And I think I might have done, I did 2 of those tracks. And this is just over the choruses, just to make it sound bigger and stronger in the chorus. So if I put that back in with that. So if I'll rewind it, there's the 2 guitar parts, and you'll see that you see it gets bigger out, obviously the more you layer on top of it. Now what I've done up the top here as well is, and there's a reason why I'm showing you this, so I'll get to that reason in a minute. I'm one of the reasons is I just want something to talk about. But there's another reason. Tim says, do you use effects from guitar or from Logic, Matt? Good question. So let me show you what I've done to record all these parts here. These are all recorded from my Victory amp. So the amp in the corner, the black one, and the white box there is a Torpedo something or other, 2 notes something box, Torpedo Cab M, and that's a box that goes between the speaker the speaker out on my amp. The speaker out goes into the Cab M, and then the speaker cable from that goes into my guitar cab, which is that box there. And I use this software here. This is my iPad, a view of my iPad, and I can go through, and I've got a whole bunch of presets here of different speaker IRs, and you're probably not going to hear this as well. Just let me mute my microphone a bit, because what you're hearing here with my guitar is a mixture of the Cab M going into my audio interface, as well as the guitar speaker cab that you're hearing in the room. So let me just mute the mic for a sec. So you can see I can change the different speaker cabs to get what I want. And generally with these tracks, each track I'm using a different speaker IR, just to give it a different vibe. Because I found if you do all the same IR and IR is an impulse response for those of you that are not guitar players or into recording stuff. So IR is an impulse response that's like a capture of a frequency response capture of a speaker in a room, and then they put this in this thing called an IR, which goes in to the Cab M. And the iPad, I'm just using that to control the Cab M with Bluetooth. So when I change things on my iPad, it changes it on that. What was I saying? So yeah, so each of the tracks I've gone through, there's a different IR on each pass, each record. Like this track here that I've got highlighted would hang on, I'll go back to my screen. Sorry. The track that I've got, so that would have a particular IR that I'm using on it, and a little bit of a tweak from the amp. In the past, I have used the AXFX 2, the AX8. I've used the Line 6 HX Stomp. I've also got some plugins. I've got a couple of UA Universal Audio guitar amp sim plugins, which are quite good. I reckon they're the best out of all the ones that I played. And I've got bias effects as well, which is cool. But I think there's nothing that goes past having an amp in the room. One thing I'll also do with some of these tracks, and I think I did it with this one here, is I mixed a little bit of the room mic into the sound as well, because I find if you've got a guitar that's quite strong in the mix, and if it's just all IR, it gets a bit flat and one-dimensional. But so I'm pretty sure that one has got some room microphone, and sometimes what I'll do, I'll just set up a mic on the cab. And Rob said, what is that speaker box? What is speaker box modeling then? Speaker box modeling is the same as that impulse response thing. So it's some geeky studio guy will set up a speaker box and set up microphones in the room as if they're miking the guitar cab in the studio to record it, and they put this impulse, it's like a weird robot sound, through the thing, and I don't know what they capture. I think they capture the frequency response of the cabinet, and then you apply that to your direct guitar sound, and it gives the effect of that. I don't really know how it works. I don't know. Go and have a look on YouTube if that doesn't give you a good enough idea. And Rob says again, as opposed to IR. So I think speaker box modeling is the same as IR, impulse response, because they're measuring the response of the cabinet in that environment. So I got off track. So yeah, sometimes I will add in a little bit of room sound just to make the sound a bit bigger, especially if it's really forward or prominent in the mix. If it's a bit hidden, I'll just leave the IR, the impulse response, use the impulse response. Or if I want to just do something quickly, I'll just use a plugin from UA or Bias Effects. There's pros and cons to both. I tend to feel that I get a more amp-like response from an amp. It just seems to work better. But anyway, back to the recording. So up the top here, I think this one is just another double up on the chorus. You can see there's some really pitchy things in there, but I think I'm not too picky with trying to make everything sound pitch perfect, because I think that adds a bit of a real airness or sort of reality to the sound a little bit when you've got some little funky notes in there. Tim Johnson, it's like a virtual cabinet, so you can have the Marshall sound or a Mesa sound. Yes. So I'm assuming all you guys can read these comments as well. Shane said up the top, Neural DSP is a ripper of a guitar plugin. I haven't actually tried the Neural DSP stuff yet. I know some mates that really like them. Any type of speaker box you like? Okay, yeah. So yeah, you guys can. I'm assuming you're all reading each other's comments. So those two tracks are just single strums. But yeah, so that's the rhythm guitar stuff. I doubled up the lead guitar part. So that one there, I just played single notes of the riff. Like there's some dodgy notes if you listen to and solo out some of these bits on their own. Yes, there's probably some fudgy bits in there, but yeah, I mean, how picky can you be at the end of the day? Like, and I am working to a budget on this. Like, I mean, there's ludicrous amounts of guitar tracks here at the moment, and I probably went overboard for what I'm getting paid for it and the amount of time I spent on it. But I'm probably just a bit anal. One of the things I did do is I ripped off the Ganjo or the Django. No, it's a Ganjo, so it's like a banjo with 6 strings, part that was recorded in the song, and I added it to the guitar riff to make it sound a bit more like the original recording. And there was the way I did that, there was a spot in the recording that you can see up the top here that it's sort of hidden underneath my video, that was just that part on its own. So I thought, beauty. So I just chopped that out and I just pasted that in with my guitar recording. And there's another part here where there was just, it's like digga 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 digga, and if you listen to the original recording, you can't hear a lot of definition in it because it's like, sounds like there's 12 guitars. So yeah, I recorded 12 guitars doing the same thing. On the intro of the original recording, you can hear this guitar feedback thing going that sort of kicks in from the intro. So what I did, I used an EBO. EBO's, I don't know if you've seen one of these things, and it vibrates the string. It's got a little electromagnet, there's a little cool LED thing on it, and it vibrates the string. To give like a bowed sort of style of thing, and it sort of emulates feedback, because obviously I'm not playing at big volumes here in the room, so I can't get natural feedback. So I use that little thing, and I fed if I just solo, because I really like the effect of this, I fed the EBO into this shimmer effect, which is a sort of a plugin that I sort of, a Logic plugin that I've sort of pinched out of another preset that I had, which sort of gives it a really cool, I'll show you. So you get this cool stereo effect that doesn't sound like a guitar, but it's just, if I turn the shimmer off, so that's it without the shimmer. So what I've done, I've recorded 2 EBO parts, and I've just followed the chords with the root note. I think I did one with the root note, one with the 5th, so you can hear the other one in there. And then with the shimmer effect, it's like angels singing, and that just goes throughout the whole track. I just played that all the way through, and it just gives a bit of almost like a pad effect in the background. So that, in context of the song, just sits in the background. It's probably a bit loud in this mix. So it's probably not the ideal mix, because like I said, that's probably a bit loud for where I would normally sit it. But yeah, so that those 2 tracks are there are the EBO tracks, and that buses into this shimmer effect that I've got going down, which is really cool. I normally use it on keyboards, but yeah, I thought I'm going to try it on the guitar, and it worked really cool. So all of these tracks here are lead guitar parts. So all the way through this track, there's these little cool little lead lines. Some of them I got as close as I could, some of them I just made up. A little bit of a screw up in there, but I thought I'd just leave it anyway, because the vocals sing over the top of that, and you don't have to be too picky. And that sound is an impulse response from the 2 notes cab M and a mic mixed in together to make it sound big. And the delay sounds you're hearing are coming from my pedal board, so they're coming through the impulse response and the microphone, and I've got some reverb mixed in on that just to make it sound big and roomy. It just gives it that big sound. And if we go over to, I'll just show you some of these other lead lines just in case anyone's interested. I like the sound of them. They just came out really good. That was a really tricky little country line. I didn't really nail that one all that well, but it sort of did the job. So there's a little, and there's a solo in the middle. I'll show you the solo. Wonder if this will hit me off on my copyright hits. very cool solo. Keith, I don't know if I can say his name. But the artist that plays this song is killer guitar player. And that one I tried to get as close as I could. And then there's another riff at the end which is pretty signature. They had to really... So that's obviously doubled. I doubled it to make it sound big. And once again, all of these parts are a mixture of impulse response and a real mic. And then it goes into this, on the extended version, goes into this cool breakdown section at the end. And he plays these little lines. Once again, I sort of ripped off some of his lines and added a couple little bits and pieces in just to taste. So I panned some guitars. I don't know if, I'm hoping you guys can hear stereo. And then he goes into that. Goes into that line. I won't play too much of that again because it'd probably hit me out on the copyright again. Yeah, and then it sort of ends on that riff. But yeah, that's the recording. How many tracks are there? There's more than 17. I don't know. I don't want to sit there and count it. But yeah, so there's a few more than you'd probably expect. But yeah, great song. You can't go wrong when you're trying to do something with a great song, and very talented artist. And one thing I noticed with some of those riffs, it's they're very sensitive to the way that you play them. Even like that riff that... Oh, my guitar sounds like rubbish. Even the way you play that... yeah, if you not have enough time, like if you don't have your timing right, or you don't sit on that note long enough, and then adding just the right amount of vibrato on those three notes, it just didn't sound right. So I did probably a few takes just to get the feeling of that right. And the main intro riff, the I found if you didn't do hammer-ons in the right spot, or you tried to just slide, like you can slide your way through that, but it doesn't have the same sort of impact as the other way around. Different camera angle. I thought this might be easier to see the guitar on. So you're doing the hammer-ons with the finger picking. Really made it sit a little bit better rather than just sort of just strumming your way and then sliding your way through it. So yeah, so a little detail, like you probably get away with that live and no one would be any the wiser, but I think it's a real tell when you're trying to record something, especially when you got it sitting back to back to the original recording and you're seeing or you're hearing the difference there. It's, yeah, I reckon it's really cool to do that when you're learning stuff. Obviously, this is sort of taken to the next degree, but yeah, so hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight into some of the things I do in my COVID time. I've got another 2 of his songs of Mr. Woodward's tracks I need to put together for him, but that's just one of them. which leads me to one of the reasons why I thought it'd be cool to show you guys this, because Rob sent me a message today, and it was something I was thinking of a while ago, and it sort of reminded me. I reckon for those who are interested, we should do a bit of a project, seeing we're all stuck at home, with our axophones at the ready. Be cool for us to do a bit of a collab, a bit of a joint project for those that are interested, and we don't have to go psycho with it. I mean, what I'm doing here is a bit psycho, and what I mean, but I've done this a little bit with lockdown with church, because we're doing some worship stuff streaming, and it's a bit hard to get a band together. And what we did last lockdown was I got people to video themselves either singing or playing along to a guide track, and just record themselves on their iPhone, and I stitched it all together, and it came out with some quite good results just from iPhone recordings. Some people did the thing that I did here and recorded themselves into a DAW and mixed it down, and then recorded the video and sent me both parts. But some of it was just an iPhone recording of them either singing or playing their instrument in the room, and I spliced it together. I did one recording, which I'll show you. This is a cool video, and I'm definitely going to get a copyright strike for this one. I can't avoid it. But this is a really cool thing I did with two mates of mine, Butch Todorowski and Warren Scott, and we were going to get another mate of ours to sing it, but it didn't happen. So it's been sitting on my hard drive, and I thought I'd just show it to you. Hopefully this works. See if this works. Is it going to work? Yeah, there's my mate Butch. I don't know if Butch is watching, but I might just send him a message. It stopped. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened then. I think I pressed a button. I've got shortcut keys for the streaming software, and I was just typing someone a message, and stop the video. Sorry. We might. I might play that on the outro if you want. I'll finish it off. Tim says, how many PRS guitars do you have? I only have 2. I've got this one. This is my main one. And the other one I traded. I had a Music Man guitar, which was really cool. It was a Steve Lukather model. And I was trying to sell it. And I couldn't. So this guy said, oh, do you want to trade this one here? Do you want to trade? So I traded him for this guitar, and it's got a killer Les Paul sort of vibe about it. So yeah, great guitar. So I thought it'd be cool for us to do a bit of a collab video for anyone that's interested. Maybe what we need to do is send out. There's a night guitar jam, our guitar jam Facebook page. Maybe if someone put some suggestions in on that, because I'm not sure with the comments on YouTube whether it will I can save what people have put in here, whether it's going to disappear once the stream's ended. So maybe if you got a suggestion for a song you think it would be really cool, it's got to be cool though. Of a song, and then I can send out like some guide tracks for people, and they can play along with it. And then you can send me your footage and your audio or whatever, and then I can stick it all together, and we can show it up here, and then maybe post it up on YouTube, and you can show your grandma and your mum, or your aunties and uncles, or whoever else you want to show. You're doing a 6 solo over something, or I don't know. We don't have to play it note for note. I thought we could do like we could just have a jam, and then we could do extended solos and get different people to do solos, and something that's got a bit of room for people to do some improvisation over. I think would be cool. Rob said, let's just do that song, the Bon Jovi one. Need someone that anyone could sing. Maybe Tim could sing that one, because that's a bit of an ask for someone to sing, because it's a bit of a stretch. But yeah, maybe have a think about it. We could do any song, as long as it's not. It's got to be rock worthy. So that I thought that'd be cool for us to do. One of the guys, someone put, I might have been Shane, was sent me a message about legato or something, and I just thought of, like, I would not consider myself the king legato player. Someone like Michael Dolce or someone like that, or Brett Garcetta is probably the king legato players in my mind. But I keep looking to this camera, and I should be looking to that camera. I thought maybe in the next couple of episodes we could get some people on that. Maybe to share their perspective on how they tackle legato. Tim, I might be able to get you to do a zoom in or something, and you can give your perspective on the whole legato playing. Legato is just basically playing fast riffs that sort of are nice and smooth and have this run sort of effect on it. So maybe we could do a bit of a chat on that sort of thing. That would be cool. Or maybe if there's other technique things that we might be able to get able to get some other players in to come and to weigh in on that. Or I generally do a lot of hybrid picking when I do what I do, and it's I find it hard to jump into. I've got to sort of warm up to it a bit. I put the metronome on and just give play some sequencing with some hammer-ons and pull-offs. I find legato for me is a lot about hammer-ons and pull-offs and hybrid picking, and trying to be as gentle as I can with the pick and with the fingers if I'm doing hybrid picking. So I'd probably just give you an example of how I would practice into that. Because I find, because it's something I've got to work into, because if I sort of jump into it, the muscles will contract a bit and I'll get locked up. Because you want flowing movements out of your fingers, not blocky movement. A lot of the blues sort of stuff, like the standard sort of blues riffs, you can get a bit sort of tight with the hand, with the muscles. But yeah, like I was saying, I would put a metronome on. I'm assuming you can hear that metronome app. And I would just do some scale exercises with hammer-ons and pull-offs. Get in rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Oh, I'm sucking at it at the moment. Yeah, but you can see I'm not doing a great deal with my right hand. And there's a good video out there by Brett Garsett on, I think it's Rock Fusion or something. He's talking about his legato technique. That's one of the things I picked up from him, that he was really light with his pick. So it's not a big contrast when he goes in picks, really strong, and then does his hammer-ons, and the hammer-ons are softer than the pick, because we want to try and blend all those notes together. But yeah, so if you're still watching, Shane, hopefully that helps a little bit. Maybe I could dig into that a bit later. But like I said, get some other people on, share their perspective on their battles with the 6-string beast. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I find it is a bit of a battle to try and stay on top of some things. Especially I think as you get older too, like as you're 16-year-old or a teenager, it's sort of, from my memory, it sort of came a little bit easier than it does when you get a bit older. Maybe your mentality changes a bit, or the physicality of things gets a bit tougher, and the muscle memory doesn't flow as much as what it did when we were younger. But that might just be me. But yeah, sometimes I find I've got to work my way into it. But definitely doing some metronome work, even just playing the crotchet and getting that right on top of the beat, or the 8th note. And finding exercises or patterns or sequences that sort of challenge your coordination a little bit, I find that helps to stretch you out a bit. Because it's just like anything, just like going. I always talk to students it's like guitar practice is like going to a gym. If I go to a gym and think that lifting a weight like this is going to do me any good, I'm dreaming. I've got to do something that challenges me physically to be able to stretch into that. So I'm assuming it's the same with every other instrument, drums or keyboards or whatever. So yeah, so that's about all that I had in mind to go over today. What I might do is, because I interrupted that video, I'll play it again for you. Borch is the king of keyboard sounds. And I think we'll end with this. So once the video ends, I'll say goodbye. And I'll probably have to go make dinner. But yeah, Borch is the king of keyboard sounds. And he nailed this Bon Jovi stuff. We recorded Lauren's drums just from Logic. And I had a camera sitting yeah, you could hear how much delay was going on that guitar part at the end. Yeah. So, yeah. So I reckon it would be cool to do something with you guys along those sort of lines. Could be anything. Like I said, I reckon it'd be cool to do something. It's a bit more room for people to do stupid guitar solos over, or even a sax solo, Rob. Yeah, something that's got a bit more room for ad-lib or improvisation, and it's not so locked in with the format. I think your Bon Jovi's probably a bit locked in. Yeah, so maybe shoot me your ideas. Send me a text message or jump on a Jam Night Facebook page, or even Menai Guitar School. There's heaps of ways you can contact me. You can contact me through YouTube comments if you want. Let me know. And all in brawl. So whoever wants to contribute or do or play or do anything. If you want to play a kazoo solo, give that a go. Anything. Doesn't have to be anything special. Tim says, how do you keep motivated for it? I don't know. Nothing else to do. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. Sometimes it's hard, but you just got to keep at it, don't you? I think all musos have got an itch that they've got to scratch, and it's being creative and using your gifts. And I don't think a lot of musos get why. I reckon to get a bit spiritual, I reckon it's been implanted inside of you by the one that created you. And if you don't use it, there's a bit of a frustration that happens. I remember I went away from doing the cover band thing for a while because of a few different reasons. But I remember that it was like, I just want to get out and play and interact with people and turn my amp up and play loud with the drummer and a bass player and the rest of the band. And when it doesn't happen, there's something that doesn't get an outlet. Yeah, I'm trying to find words to describe it. So anyway, if you got any questions, there's multiple ways you can send your thoughts or anything through. Like I said, hopefully next week I'll have the live comments come up on the screen. But I'm sure you're all reading them on Facebook anyway. So cool. All right. So I'll sign out. Go make some dinner. I might have to walk the dog depending how psycho he is inside at the moment. All right. So Borch just sent me a message. Let me read what Borch said. That was cool. Thanks, bro. Well done on the stream. Thanks, Borch. Gosh, I miss my muso mates. We need to get lockdown done with. I went on another note. I went and got my first jab the other day because I felt pressured. Because we need to get out of this lockdown. It doesn't feel like the government's going to let us down until they've got enough. So I got suckered into it. And it was not good. But hopefully it will, not kill me in the long run. But anyway, cool. Another note. All right. So, so goodbye, and I'll see you next Sunday. If you got any topics that you think would be good to cover, send me a message. See you guys. Stay strong. And I'll figure out how to turn this